Rebecca, you've helped me to have more fun every day, to see the joy in the small things and care less about the things that don't really matter. Life became a lot more fun when you came into it, and for that I'll be eternally grateful. I love just how kind and thoughtful you are. You always put other people first, making sure they're happy before you are. And for all of our annoying habits and flaws, we make a great team. When we're together, it feels like we can really accomplish anything, and I cannot wait to see what the future has in store for us. And if it's anything like the last 9 years, it'll be predominantly living in a building site and DIY. So, sorry about that. Now, before toasting my new wife, there's one final person I would like to thank, and that is Meghan Markle. Sadly, she couldn't make it here, but if it wasn't for her, we might not be here today. Because it was only when she started dating Prince Harry about 10 years ago that Rebecca finally gave up her childhood hopes and dreams of marrying a royal and decided that I might be an acceptable alternative. So, on that note, can everyone please join me in raising a glass to my new beautiful wife, Mrs. Rebecca Wood. Mrs. Rebecca Wood.
On behalf of the Northumberland Registration Service and the management and staff at the glorious Ellingham Hall, I would like to welcome you all here on this very, very happy occasion for the marriage of Rebecca and Jonathan. My name is Heather Smith, and it is my absolute pleasure to be conducting your ceremony today. My colleague today is Helen, and Helen is our legal registrar. Helen has already checked all the legal details of the marriage, ready for us to issue that all-important marriage certificate. So when Posty pops it through the letterbox in a few weeks' time, you'll know that today really did happen, and it wasn't just a beautiful dream. A wedding is a very special occasion, which has taken months, if not years of planning. And I'm sure you will all agree that Rebecca and Jonathan have chosen the most magnificent surroundings to be married here at Ellingham Hall today. I would like to welcome you all from over the border, because I know a lot of our guests have come from over the border here, and it's so nice to see some of you guys in kilts. It always makes the occasion so special. You have one job today, and that is to make the most wonderful, happy memories that you can share with Rebecca and Jonathan in their many years of happy married life to come. And today, this is probably the only one day where so many family and friends will be gathered just for you two. So enjoy every second of it and make some wonderful, magical, happy memories. But most importantly, at the heart of today are those vows and promises which you two have chosen to say to each other. They are a public declaration that with each other you have found that very special love that not everybody is lucky enough to find, that means you want to spend the rest of your lives together. These vows are the start of a new stage in your journey together, and I know that everybody here today wishes you many years of happy travelling on that journey with lots of fun and adventures along the way. So, are you ready to get married?
Yeah.
Let's get on with it then. Jonathan, may I have your full name, please?
Jonathan James Wood.
And Rebecca, may I have your full name, please?
Rebecca Letitia Gribbon.
This place in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriage. If any person knows of any lawful impediment why Rebecca and Jonathan may not be joined in marriage, you should declare it now. Oh, perfect guess. Absolute silence. Before you promise yourselves to each other in marriage, it is my duty to remind you of the solemn and binding character of the vows that you are about to make. Marriage in this country means the union of two people, voluntarily entered into for life to the exclusion of all others. I am now going to ask each of you in turn to declare that you do not know of any lawful reason why you should not be married to each other. And you just need to reply, I am, to the question. And Jonathan, I'm going to ask you that question first. Are you, Jonathan James Wood, free lawfully to marry Rebecca Letitia Gribbon?
I am.
And are you, Rebecca Letitia Gribbon, free lawfully to marry Jonathan James Wood?
I am.
The purpose of marriage is that you may always love, care for and support each other through all the joys and sorrows of life, and that love may be fulfilled in a relationship of permanent and continuing commitment. And I'm sure that everybody gathered here today knows that these things will come true for you two lovely people. So why do Rebecca and Jonathan wish to marry each other? Well, in each other's company, they have found fulfillment and love. They have drawn closer to each other, and they now wish to affirm their relationship, offering each other the security that comes from legally binding vows, sincerely made and faithfully kept. By taking these vows, you are undertaking a commitment to cherish and support each other faithfully throughout your lives together. The institution of marriage must be entered into freely, voluntarily, and with the full and unreserved consent of you both. Now, the answer to this question normally is I do, okay? Do you, Jonathan, take Rebecca here present to be your lawful wedded wife, to be loving, loyal, and faithful to her for the rest of your lives together?
I do.
And do you, Rebecca, take Jonathan here present to be your lawful wedded husband, to be loving, loyal, and faithful to him for the rest of your lives together?
I do.
Now, in the presence of your family and friends, your official witnesses, and the legal registrar of marriages, you're now going to enter into the legal contract of your marriage. So these few simple words you're about to say to each other are the most important you're going to say today, and they change your lives forever. So what I suggest you do is when you say them, just look at each other and remember this moment for the rest of your lives. So Jonathan, you're going to go first, okay? I, Jonathan James Wood.
I, Jonathan James Wood.
Take you, Rebecca Letitia Gribben.
Take you, Rebecca Letitia Gribben.
To be my wedded wife.
To be my wedded wife.
I, Rebecca Letitia Gribben.
I, Rebecca Letitia Gribben.
Take you, Jonathan James Wood.
Take you, Jonathan James Wood.
To be my wedded husband.
To be my wedded husband.
Well, I think they deserve a round of applause. Now, at this point in the ceremony, Rebecca and Jonathan have chosen to make a very special personal promise to each other. Okay, so Jonathan, you're just going to repeat after me and you're going to say these words to Rebecca. Rebecca, from this day forward.
Rebecca, from this day forward.
I promise to share my life with you.
I promise to share my life with you.
To laugh with you.
To laugh with you.
To be proud of you.
To be proud of you.
Never take you for granted.
Never take you for granted.
Always take care of you.
Always take care of you.
And to be faithful to you.
And to be faithful to you.
I promise to love you for the rest of my life.
I promise to love you for the rest of my life.
And Rebecca. Jonathan, from this day forward.
Jonathan, from this day forward.
I promise to share my life with you.
I promise to share my life with you.
To laugh with you.
To laugh with you.
To be proud of you.
To be proud of you.
Never take you for granted.
Never take you for granted.
Always take care of you.
Always take care of you.
And to be faithful to you.
And to be faithful to you.
I promise to love you for the rest of my life.
I promise to love you for the rest of my life.
Well, we now come to a very significant part of the wedding ceremony, which is the giving and the receiving of the wedding rings. This is an ancient and traditional way of sealing that contract that you've just made with each other, and is the outward sign of the vows that you've made here today. The wedding ring is an unbroken circle, symbolising unending and everlasting love, and it reflects those lovely lifelong promises that you've made with each other today. So we have some help from Chris, who has the rings. So Chris, if you'd like to come forward. And then if you'd just like to offer that box there to Jonathan. And Jonathan, if you take Rebecca's ring, and Chris, if you just sort of take a step back, that's lovely. And then Jonathan, just place the ring up to the knuckle of the third hand, that's it, and just hold it in place on Rebecca's finger. And then you're going to say these words to Rebecca. Rebecca, this ring is a symbol.
Rebecca, this ring is a symbol.
Of the love I have for you.
Of the love I have for you.
I give it to you as a token.
I give it to you as a token.
That from this day forward.
That from this day forward.
We shall be as one.
We shall be as one.
And then just slide that into place. And Chris, if you would like to offer Rebecca Jonathan's ring. That's lovely. Just take a step out, that's lovely. And then Rebecca, just place it up to the knuckle on the third finger. And then you're going to say these words to Jonathan. Jonathan, this ring is a symbol
Jonathan, this ring is a symbol
of the love I have for you.
of the love I have for you.
I give it to you as a token
I give it to you as a token
that from this day forward,
that from this day forward,
we shall be as one.
we shall be as one.
And then just slide it into place. Okay. Thank you, Chris. And then if you just continue to hold hands. These are the hands of your best friend, strong and full of love for you, that are holding yours on your wedding day, as you promise to love each other today, tomorrow, and forever. These are the hands that will work alongside yours as together you build your future. These are the hands that will love and cherish you through the years, and with the slightest touch will comfort you like no other. These are the hands that will countless times wipe tears from your eyes, tears of sorrow, and today tears of joy. And finally, these are the hands that even when wrinkled and old, will still be reaching for yours, still giving you that same unspoken tenderness with just a touch. Marriage is the magic that can turn our everyday lives into very special times. So remember to create your own magical moments and make the most of every single day that you are together. But most importantly, treat each other with respect, never stop being friends, and quite simply be the most important person in each other's lives. So Rebecca and Jonathan, you have both made the declarations required by law and have made solemn and binding promises to each other. I ask everybody here today, having witnessed this marriage ceremony and your commitments to each other, to join with Helen and myself in wishing you both success and happiness in your future lives together. It therefore gives me the greatest of pleasure to say that Jonathan and Rebecca, you are now united as husband and wife and marriage, and you, sir, you know what comes next.
Thank you, everyone. What was that, Rick? We'll sit back down. Yeah. I'm the proud father of the beautiful bride. And can I start by welcoming you all here today and thank you for coming to celebrate Rebecca and Jonathan's marriage today. I would like to especially welcome all those here that have travelled from a distance. I suppose that means all of us. I know how much it means for them to have so many close friends and family here to share their special day with them. I would also like to welcome Peter and Julie and Chris and Zara to our extended family, and we look forward to getting to know you better in the years ahead. We're grateful for Peter and Julie for bringing up such a thoughtful and caring son, and we're absolutely delighted that he's now our son-in-law. Rebecca and Jonathan have spent much of the past 12 months planning and preparing for today. In fact, I think for Rebecca, it's been almost as exciting as going to see Taylor Swift. Is it?
Sure about that.
Is it?
No, it's better.
I thought I had to get Taylor Swift into your speech. The bond between a father and a daughter is an amazing thing. The day that Rebecca was born, I realised a depth of love that I have never known before. As I stood there that day, holding my baby daughter for the first time, staring down lovingly, I couldn't help but thinking how beautiful she looked. Even her hair was sitting perfectly. It looked as if she had just cut and styled it. And knowing Rebecca, she probably had for coming out. You were such a wonderful baby and child, never a tantrum, always smiling, such a joy to be with. When Rebecca was growing up, she was forever asking to try new hobbies, in fact, every hobby. She joined dance classes, the ice skating club, you'll remember all these, the gymnastics club, the crafting club, in fact, every club that you can think of, Rebecca joined. And then there was a musical phase, as we like to call it. Lots of different musical instruments. Do you remember that too? All of which are now in our loft. Only used once. So if anyone would like to buy a trumpet, a keyboard, a guitar, and I'm serious, a guitar, acoustic, and Pink Electric. Do you remember your Pink Electric? See me later. And this is a true story. Not so funny, but true. When Rebecca was at Napier University studying, she was seconded to a marketing company. And we were worried about her because it was the first time in a strange city, and Mum and I decided what we would do is go and collect you every day from work. So the drive from Bellsill to Edinburgh, which took an hour to collect Rebecca from work every day for the first week. So the first day we arrived, anxiously waiting to see how she'd got on. We're waiting, watching the door. First person out the door, young, handsome man, very well styled, wearing red Nike trainers, walks past the front of the car. And me and I looked at each other and thought, I wonder who he is. But anyway, thought nothing more of it. And Rebecca came out, how was your first day at work? Oh, it was great. Anyone your own age there? No, there's nobody my age there. I'm thinking, that's odd. So anyway, following day, same thing again. We arrived, waiting anxiously. First person to leave. You were always the first person to leave. Tavon. Why? First person to leave. This young, handsome man, well-dressed, wearing Nike trainers, the red Nike trainers. So when Rebecca came out for the second time, we said to her, are you sure you don't have it? And she said, no, there's nobody in our office that fits that description. So anyway, she then went back to work the following day, scoured the offices, looking for this young, handsome man with the red Nike trainers. Now, fortunately, you wore the same trainers every day, otherwise she would never have known. So she found him in another department, and his name was Jonathan Wood. And And they started chatting, got to know each other, started dating, and here we are now, after all this time, together. So I think I deserve a pat on the back for this, for this arranged marriage. So as time went past, Jonathan came to visit us for the first time. It was a cold and frosty, I don't know if you remember, it was a cold and frosty day, middle of winter, and he was coming to visit us and our dog Harry. So he arrives, as Jonathan does, with all his designer gear on. He had you weren't wearing red Nike trainers that day though. He had lovely suede boots on, new designer jeans and lovely top. And I remember, you won't remember, but I remember. So we had dinner, and all was going well, and Jonathan said, why don't we take Harry for a walk? Now, Harry is our beloved Springer Spaniel, who's very boisterous. So they took him down the park, which has got a huge lake in the middle of it. And what happens? The dog ran onto the middle of the lake, fell through the ice, and Jonathan, without a moment's hesitation, ran into the lake, up to his chest, in ice-cold water, and rescued our beloved dog. So that meant that he was firmly and immediately accepted into our family. When we got to know Jonathan a bit better, we found out that he has many other qualities in addition to the willingness to provide. Just when everything was going so well. The willingness to provide an emergency animal rescue service. He's kind, intelligent, ambitious, gentle, loving. Sorry, Jonathan, I can't read what you've written there. Rebecca, you stole my heart today. I'm very emotional. Alistair, you know this. You stole my heart the day you were born, and today my heart is filled with pride and joy. Proud of the woman that you've become, and joyful that you've found true love with Jonathan. I'm absolutely certain you're going to be a great wife, and maybe one day, if we see some little acorns from the woods, thank you. I'm sure that you will make a fantastic mother. Before I finish, I want to pay tribute to one other person, and that's Rebecca's wonderful mum. May has given Rebecca her unconditional love, support, guidance and friendship. On top of that, she's put up with me for over 40 years. How lucky we are to have her. But this is Rebecca and Jonathan's day. They know we will always be there for them, and we're excited to watch them achieve their dreams. At this point in my speech, I would like to wish you happiness as you embark upon married life together. Me and I have been happily married for over 40 years, and if I could give you any words of wisdom, it would be this: marriage is not about finding a person that you can live with, but finding a person that you can't live without. And I know you've found that in each other. Before I take a seat, I have one other task to perform. And it's a task that is both my honour and privilege. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please be upstanding for a toast? No, you stay here. Please raise your glasses, wishing the newlyweds a long, healthy and happy future together. The bride and groom, Rebecca and Jonathan. Rebecca and Jonathan.
Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you for those kind words. I know this must be a really emotional day for you, Not just because your only daughter's getting married, but more so because you've had to spend an entire day without your favourite child, Harry. We really appreciate the sacrifice you've made to be here today. Just to clarify, Harry's a dog, if you didn't get that in the last speech. Well, hello everyone. I'd just like to start by saying that on behalf of my wife and I, thank you all so much for being here to make our day so special. We really appreciate the effort everyone's made to come all the way here. And I know we didn't exactly pick the most convenient location for anyone, and just in case your journey hasn't yet been worthwhile, let me assure you it will be when you see David tearing up the dance floor later on tonight. Truly a sight to behold. Now sadly there are a few close family members who would have loved to have been here, but unfortunately are no longer with us. Notably, Rebecca's Aunt Sally, her Gran Nina, and my Grandma Doreen. They would have loved to have been here so they could celebrate, and I know just how proud they would be of us both. So can everyone please join me in raising a glass to absent loved ones. Now, there are a few different people I'd like to thank today, and I'd like to start with my mum and dad. It may sound cliche, but I really couldn't have asked for better parents. You've always put me and Chris first, and it's your unwavering love and support over the last 30 years that's helped mould me into the person I am today. And I'm sure everyone in this room will agree you've done a wonderful job. I also want to thank you for the fantastic childhood you gave me. I've got many happy memories of growing up, such as some great family holidays. There was skiing in France, where our bus went up in flames and we nearly died, to boat trips in Turkey, where we got stranded at sea for about 8 hours and nearly died. Probably should have got social services involved at some point or another, but anyway. But to be fair, when you weren't causing childhood trauma, you've both been brilliant role models. The way you've both worked so hard to achieve what you have in my lifetime is truly inspiring. That's serious. That's true. It's not a joke. Yeah, you've both been so supportive of Rebecca and I over the last 9 years, so thank you very much. We know just how lucky we are to have you in our lives. Thank you. Now, I've also been incredibly lucky when it comes to my in-laws, May and Jim. I always cringe when I hear horror stories or jokes about difficult mother-in-laws because my experience has just been so far from that stereotype. I really couldn't have asked for better in-laws. May, did I say that right? Is that how we practice it, yeah? Perfect. I'm off the hook. But seriously, you've been so supportive of us both over the last 9 years, not just in the run-up to today, but ever since we first met. So thank you for that. And you've also done a brilliant job of bringing up such a wonderful daughter. You've also just been incredibly kind and welcoming to me, from inviting me along on family holidays to even letting me join your exclusive family WhatsApp group. I feel truly privileged, so thank you for that. And that concludes your extended family as well. It feels like every time we meet up, you teach me a new word and my North Lanarkshire vocabulary increases. Still got no idea what any of it means, but thank you anyway. That's a good one, yeah. Now I want to take a minute just to thank the bridesmaids, Zara and Barbara, and of course the maid of honour, Laura. Thank you for helping Rebecca get ready for the wedding, not just over the last few months with dress shopping and hen parties and everything else that you do, but specifically today, actually getting her ready and downstairs on time. Having been with Rebecca for nearly 10 years, that's no mean feat, so well done, seriously. Much better than I could have done. Rebecca's so lucky to have you wonderful people with her to support her today. And I'm sure everyone in the room will agree, you will look absolutely beautiful. And while we're on the subject of people looking beautiful, I want to make a special mention to my 3 groomsmen. You all look amazing. Sam, David, thank you for your friendship and support over the last 20 years. We've had a lot of fun together and I look forward to that continuing. And of course Chris, my best man, my big brother. Gonna cry? No, not yet. Not yet, no. There's still time. It was at this point that I'd planned to try and discredit your character by telling everyone terrible things about you before your turn on the mic. But to be honest, there's nothing bad to say. You've been a brilliant brother, great role model, and have many fond memories of us growing up together, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And hopefully you now feel too bad to say anything bad about me. Oh dear. Okay. And now I want to take a few minutes to talk about the most important person in the room today, my new wife, who looks beautiful as always.
Thank you.
As Jim alluded to, Rebecca and I met 9 years ago while on a work placement at uni. We became friends and we bonded over our shared love of the Lake District and Spaniels and the fact that we were about 20 years younger than anyone else at the company. Basically had no other friends at work. And after a few weeks of chatting at work, we went out on our first date. Now, we decided just to go for a casual drink because it was a work night after all, so I assumed we'd just go for a couple of drinks and I'd be home at a nice sensible time, ready for work, feeling fresh the next day. Well, within a few minutes of sitting down at the bar, Rebecca ordered a sampling tray of 6 different shots.
It was for the nose.
I thought it was a little bit wild at the time, first 10 minutes of a first date to be getting 6 shots in, but what the hell, it might be fun to have a few shots each, right? No, I was wrong. It turned out all 6 shots were in fact just for Rebecca, and I had to order my own drink. Didn't really know what to make of it at the time, but we had a great night.
Yeah.
And from that moment, our love has grown stronger, and Rebecca's love for shots hasn't wavered, as you will no doubt see later on this evening. But this very much set the tone for the next 9 years, which has been loads of fun. And this is one of the many things that I love about you. Rebecca and I have got a lot in common, but we also have quite different personalities that complement each other well. Rebecca, you've helped me to have more fun every day, to see the joy in the small things and care less about the things that don't really matter. Life became a lot more fun when you came into it, and for that I'll be eternally grateful. I love just how kind and thoughtful you are. You always put other people first, making sure they're happy before you are. And for all of our annoying habits and flaws, we make a great team. When we're together, it feels like we can really accomplish anything, and I cannot wait to see what the future has in store for us. And if it's anything like the last 9 years, it'll be predominantly living in a building site and DIY. So, sorry about that. Now, before toasting my new wife, there's one final person I would like to thank, and that is Meghan Markle. Sadly, she couldn't make it here, but if it wasn't for her, we might not be here today. Because it was only when she started dating Prince Harry about 10 years ago that Rebecca finally gave up her childhood hopes and dreams of marrying a royal and decided that I might be an acceptable alternative. So, on that note, can everyone please join me in raising a glass to my new beautiful wife, Mrs. Rebecca Wood. Mrs. Rebecca Wood.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Chris. I'm Jonathan's older brother and best man. You might remember me from the rings earlier. That was a highlight. I'm sure you've all met Jonathan before, so you'll know that he's kind, conscientious, and highly organised, with an easy confidence and a cheeky smile. He works hard, he does things properly, and is all around generally a decent guy. But was he always that way? Well, having grown up with Jonathan, I feel like I'm well placed to share 3 short stories from his early life and let you, his friends and family, decide for yourselves. Now, you may have noticed there was no Cocoa Pops on offer at breakfast this morning. And that's because Jonathan's not allowed Cocoa Pops. He's not allergic. It's far more serious than that. You see, as a young boy, a bowl of Cocoa Pops had a similar effect on Jonathan to that which a large bump of cocaine might on an adult. I recall one particular episode where 4-year-old Jonathan, high on their chocolatey goodness, ran amok in our local Tesco's. He was feral, sprinting down the aisles, trying to climb the shelves, and pulling his pants down in the freezer section. So, no more Cocoa Pops. The second story I like to call Jonathan and the Albino Goldfish. Growing up, Jonathan always wanted a pet. And while the dog was off limits for many years, our parents eventually conceded 2 goldfish, which he named Tuna and Mayo, after his favourite sandwich. He was going to get a 3rd goldfish called Baguette, but it never arrived for reasons which will shortly become apparent. 12-year-old Jonathan was a diligent fish owner and thought that one day their tank was in need of a clean. He wanted to do the job properly, and the best solution, he thought, would be highly concentrated bleach. If it's good enough for toilets, it's good enough for aquatic life, I'm sure. Jonathan does things properly, so he gave a lot of bleach, a good scrub, filled it up, put the fish back in, confident that they'd be delighted in their shiny new home. Imagine his surprise, therefore, when over the next few days, the goldfish turned from gold to pale gold, to white, to translucent, and died. So, no more goldfish. The final story is a little... Have I turned this off? Have I turned this off?
Yeah.
How do I turn it back on? I've turned it back on. We'll continue. The final story is a little bit... I've done it again. The final story is a little bit more recent, and it's called Jonathan Sparks a Mini Moral Panic. Jonathan was excited to turn 17 and planned a house party in North Berwick with all his pals, some of whom might be here today. Woo! Great. Like many teenagers, he was a little apprehensive that no one would show up, but he needn't have worried because word had got around. In the end, so many people came that the house was absolutely heaving. There were a series of noise complaints and a robust police response. There wasn't much else happening in North Berwick on a Saturday night. Our parents arrived home from the pub to discover a full-on police roadblock on their driveway, where officers were unceremoniously confiscating alcohol from a long line of kids, decanting it into the bushes, and sending them on their way. That very same alcohol featured in a TV news report the next day on underage teenage drinking in East Lothian. So a few highlights there, possibly not representative of Jonathan's childhood, but who knows. On a slightly more sincere note, growing up, I know I took Jonathan for granted, and I wasn't always nice to him. We'd fight like brothers do, and there are things I'm not proud of. I once threw a dinner plate at his head like a frisbee, and on another occasion, I created a bedroom casino to trick him out of his pocket money. For his part, Jonathan was an expert in causing trouble and yet appearing completely innocent whenever adults arrived. That said, we had a lot of fun growing up. I've got many happy memories of family holidays and hours spent skateboarding together or playing a version of football we invented with rules specific to our parents' front garden. When he was 16, I took him to his first nightclub while on holiday in Morocco. Sorry, parents. And I've got really fond memories of him coming to visit me after I left home to live in London. Jonathan's had a varied and interesting career. He's worked as a... I'm not letting you see that. He's worked as an ice cream salesman, a lobster chef, a milkman, well, he worked for Muller for a bit, and more recently has had a thriving career in digital marketing. As I've grown older, I've realised how much I really do appreciate Jonathan and the relationship we have today. He's always there to listen, to lend a hand, and to offer helpful advice. I might be his older brother, but I genuinely look up to him. Not just because he's slightly taller than me. Where did that come from? Not just because he's slightly taller than me, but because he's a good role model. He's calm, moral, decisive, assertive where he needs to be, and extremely kind. In many ways, somebody I aspire to be a bit more like. And then there's Rebecca. In preparing this speech, I tried to remember the first time that Jonathan introduced us to Rebecca, and I genuinely can't. It feels like Rebecca is such a natural extension of our family. It's like she's always been there. Rebecca is warm, Rebecca is funny, Rebecca is creative and highly thoughtful. The relationship that she and Jonathan share is nothing short of inspirational. I'm continuously impressed, but not surprised, by the way they care for and support each other in everything they do. My partner Zara and I have had the pleasure of the last decade of staying close to Jonathan and Rebecca. We've holidayed together, we've shared home renovation war stories, we've mourned the loss of beloved family pets, and we've crafted business ideas that we know will never get off the ground. I don't think there's a better way to stress test a relationship than to renovate an entire home by yourselves while living there full time. Surviving dust, injuries, infestations, and worst of all, building warrant applications. If the success you've had with your flat is anything to go by, I'm sure married life will be an absolute breeze, and I wish you both the very best for the future. Would you all join me in raising one final toast, please? To Jonathan and Rebecca. And if anyone wants to get the party started later, I've got a little bag of these so we can slip it into his drink or something. Oh, I'm pointing myself.
till the morning, morning. You never know when it is over, over. All that I know is we'll get older, older. So let us dance this night away.